Hello, and welcome to Automat Live Coding. This is the stream where we write Automat. What is Automat? Automat is a game automation tool. This video is actually a couple of years old at this point. It shows a very early version of Automat. It shows the version of Automat roughly from the point where I was starting to stream. Like the way that Automat looks right now. Run Automat. Couldn't connect to X server. How? Oh, couldn't. That's silly. Do I have an X server? Sorry, this is a Linux thingy. Hey, there is an X server running. We need to give it a second. Interesting. Check. The only thing I was doing recently was some tiny inconsequential changes to macro recorder. GLX girls. Oh, I know why. It should be called. Yeah. This is because for some reason I'm using Tmax. I shouldn't. This is Automat. Actually, I will open the release version of Automat. Slightly faster. So this is how Automat looks. It's a board onto which you can drop toys. Those are toys. This is a switch. This is a macro recorder, the main toy that you will use. It can record macros. So my mouse movement was recorded here. When I play this back, it's going to do something. Yeah. Click stuff, move my mouse. And everything in Automat is object-oriented. So when you record a macro, it creates a timeline, and this timeline contains tracks which are connected to different objects. And I could replace those objects. I could, for example, put a timer here, right? Let's activate a timer here. And I will delete those objects so they don't create a mess. So see now, it starts the timer and then it stops the timer. Maybe you will see better here. Starts and stops. So you can do all sorts of fun stuff by connecting those objects together. And there are plenty of objects. There is this timer that you've seen, it can count time, and once it counts the end, it sends the signal and the control flow over. There is a hotkey which allows you to send the signal whenever you press a key. And this hotkey is active even when I'm in some other application. Like, I can be in a terminal, and when I press Q, this hotkey actually blocks the hotkey from being delivered. Instead, the Automat captures it. I disable this, I can type this key again. That was hotkey. And we have plenty of objects. very interesting. Gemini just activated and started recording me. Interesting. Hey,
Gamer says.
Hi bro, how it's going?
actually, I am on the, how do you say, road, this place where the roads split. So I spent the last, I think 2 weeks working on this wobbliness thingy. This wobbliness is now kind of everywhere in Automat. When I'm moving some objects around, I can clone the object. You know, the objects are stretchy. But now this is kind of finished. It's working. This wobbliness is fully implemented.
What are we building?
This is a game automation tool. If there is a game that kind of has some repetitive elements, and it's kind of common in games. The games are kind of built around repetitive elements. They are even called game loops in the game design. So the point of Automat is to automate boring games. You can do some kind of coding here. So you get access to a bunch of instructions that you can use to automate some logic. And you get other objects that can, for example, record macros and replay them. Move my mouse around. It's kind of like AutoHotkey. Wobbliness now works. Actually fairly... It works surprisingly well. Better than I expected.
Icon micros and all. I also play games.
Yeah. So this is for... they are especially good in some RPG games or JRPGs in particular. Okay, that was a crash. That's something that we could debug. Let me build a debug build. Anyway, so this warping, this is something that I called the Great Warp Unification. And this Great Warp Unification is kind of finished. It's time to pick up the next step for Automat.
So you code yourself or you do vibe coding?
I use AI a lot, but I'm very critical of the code that the AI generates. So I would say I use coding assistance from AI, especially, in large refactorings. I wouldn't call this vibe coding. I would... It really depends how you define vibe coding. Some people would call it vibe coding because I'm asking AI to code stuff for me. Personally, I would say vibe coding is when you stop understanding what's happening under the hood. I'm not at this stage yet. The code base is still my little garden that I kind of care about deeply.
If you have a minute, can you give me a quick review of my website I created?
Yeah, sure. Send it over. So Automat. The next milestone for Automat is release this on Steam. Automat is already on Steam, but I think it's still missing a couple of things. Let me zoom. So this is the to-do. This is the chaotic to-do. We have no mention of Steam here, so let's create a new task called Steam release.
URL.
It's a nice opening. It glitches while it loads. When the shader kicks in, there is a delay. And my computer is as pimped out as it can be. So if it's glitching on my PC, then it's probably glitching on every single one. But okay, the shader in the background, it's amazing. I love the shader. It's some kind of 3D Perlin, right? You're scrolling and doing some threshold. I really like that the lines have fixed width.
No, I need to fix that.
Usually when you do posterization on those clouds, the lines have a varying width. It's hard to make the line fixed width. But it's nice and sharp here. Actually, okay, this is compacted, so I cannot really see where the shader is coming from. Probably somewhere here.
Yes. This is how web dev.
We have some fonts, CSS, search priority low. Is all of the code kind of compacted like that? You shouldn't do this to, the users of your website. You want to see what's happening inside.
Web dev equivalent of writing machine code by hand.
Global disk turbo pack. This is doing some DOM manipulation. This is boring. Home internals do not use or warn users they cannot upgrade. I'm just looking at interesting strings here because I cannot see the structure at all. I also do not know how React works entirely. I don't know how it works under the hood, so...
AI is genuinely great at unminifying this kind of soup, by the way.
Okay, so this is some code which is meant to detect crawlers. Maybe it's part of React, I don't know.
Kitretsugamer says,
I compacted it all. TTS-ed website has a lot of 3D stuff, so if I don't compact it, it will lag a lot.
You can also enable gzip in the server, because gzip is actually better than compaction. I mean, it doesn't exclude the other, but, plain text compresses decently. Minified code is compressed even more, but still. gzip takes you like 90% of the way there. Okay, this is a massive block of code. Server patch reducer. Okay, this really looks like some kind of infrastructure that's meant to be the foundation of the website. I saw some kind of crawler detection code above. And there is a lot of very screaming constants, which is probably a form of documentation or like
Oh, I didn't knew that before. I will try that.
you're also using Vercel, so Vercel is probably reconfiguring the server properly for you. But yes, GZP is free on-the-fly minification, and you can also combine this gzip with some. So there are many techniques of compressing stuff more using the same compression algorithm, but in a more clever way. So, for example, the zip compression, which like most software uses, it can be compressed using many different compressors, but they have trade-offs, between compression time and compression ratio. So you can even recompress your website using some like super advanced compressor that's going to, squeeze a couple more bytes out of this. And then it still works with regular decompressors. That was HTML.
Says,
I've built a React implementation for creating a pixie scene graphs with JSX. It's surprisingly simple to build if you skip any virtual DOM nonsense. Basically, React Pixie, but without any dependency on React.
Yeah, the whole idea of React is kind of simple. It's just the framework does the DOM part of data flow, really. Okay, this has even more referenced JavaScript files. Okay, but we do see some WebAssembly being loaded. So I think this could be... There could be more hidden behind this file, but this is much for me to decode. What is this doing? Nothing? I don't know.
And I even added tons of features on top, like forking, which does async work on a copy fork of the graph, which then replaces the live graph once the async work is done. Kinda specific to my use case of building kiosks, but still useful for game UI as well. Wouldn't build your game main scene with that, though?
Nice. Custom UI frameworks. I think it's worth doing them still. Even if the same could be done with, off-the-shelf framework. Still an opportunity to, try something new. Like the async forking of computation. This code is much more hairy than the previous one. The previous one was clearly framework. AP. Okay, this is doing some...
Kitrat Sagama says,
It's my portfolio website. So on looks, what do you say how the whole website looks?
I'm just interested in those things like... What's this section? Blah, 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 blah. And then... This is not JavaScript syntax. Oh no, this is a string. This is error reporting, I see. It's going to be replaced. Let me just find the shader. There's so many hidden parts. Hey, I guess shader is probably loaded dynamically from somewhere. I would have to go into developer tools. The dot is nice. Could be a little confusing. In terms of color theme, and the color theme has strong AI vibes. AI loves this color palette. There is a clip on the right here, like the text on the right is truncated. Fun. There are still some kind of small glitches with this animation here. It feels like it's using some maybe I don't know why it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Okay.
It looks that way, BCE. It's vibe coded. Like I know what is going on my code, but I prefer AI.
Yeah, but the way it looks, that AI should not decide for you how the website looks. You still probably have something to communicate to the appearance.
There's a theme section, you can change it.
Effects, very cool. Okay, and this one works actually well. This one behaves nicely. The buttons have some issue when I kind of jump between them, the animation stops. Maybe it's deliberate, I'm not sure. But it's not happening here. This is working nice. Very fun. This is the 3D CSS transform, I guess.
No, I never let the AI decide what to do. I give instructions what to do, and AI does that.
The writing has a very strong kind of smell of AI. And it's... So this is something that I guess I detect because I work with AI all the time. But AI tends to generate a lot of kind of bullshit. A lot of filler and a lot of made-up stuff. So I kind of subconsciously, when I recognize this language, I tend to skip it. Like this kind of language in particular. with the antithesis, like this shape is generated, not placed. Yeah.
Ufal says,
It does that sometimes. It does something always. Yeah. M dash detected.
Oh yeah, and there is M dash. But M dash to me, it's not the problem. Like, M dashes are fine. This is just a typographic thing. What is annoying to me is the filler, like the information that could be expressed in like a single sentence uses a paragraph instead. And this whole paragraph, it's just to make it larger, to make it longer, so that it fits in the, on the website.
Kitratsugamer says,
I need to work on readability and font. It's under progress. That's why it's on Vercel for now.
Owen says,
When you ask AI to make a product page, it's basically full of lorem ipsum.
Yeah.
Except it sounds like real English.
The AI also has this tendency to generate very marketing-like language, where it has this very commanding tone. And there is something ironic in this paragraph in general. One of one, never a reused team. This is actually something that's not quite true. Like, this is how AI works. It generated those shaders because it was trained on those shaders already. If you look, you will find this background shader probably somewhere online. It's probably somewhere in the training data set. So it's not really, unique.
I need to rewatch Gits now. Thank you for that.
Kitratsugamer says,
Big to you, TX, for putting your time in reviewing my website. Really appreciated.
For sure. The animations are super cool. Background I like the most, and it's very nice that it kind of starts at the beginning. These 3D CSS transforms, they are also working very nicely. They are very responsive. Buttons have some issues. The theme and the language on the website is it has a lot of cues that are very AI-like. In a couple of years, when we will look back, you will look at this and it will be very recognizably AI.
BW, the shader is unique to me. BCA, I thought it myself and told AI to mate it.
How do you do the width of the lines then? Because this is like, I was actually looking in the code, I was actually trying to find how the shader handles the width. Because normally when you posterize a cloud, there are some sections on the cloud which are like flatter, and there are sections on the cloud which are kind of steeper. And this produces a variable width of the line. So this is not a simple posterization. So how do you do this?
yes, says,
Yeah, true. The even width is interesting.
This is awesome.
It reminds me of an edge detection shader dot.
The product pages, they usually have, they are organized to, to put the most important, stuff first, and then, those different sections, each section should be like a different argument. On this website, I see that there is this header, which talks about animation and, the fact that things are going to be, rich and responsive, and, things are going to dance on screen. And every section repeats the same thing. So your brand should feel alive. Okay, this is real. This is another section which says the same thing. So it's saying the same thing over and over and over. It's like there is nothing more. Like different paragraphs should talk about like different aspects or something like that. Or I don't know, maybe you want to repeat this, but they are not bringing anything new. It's like this section. It sounds like this section just paraphrased, just repeated again in different words. It's a nice website. Oh, nice.
Kitatsugama says,
I will fix that up. BW to the wrong MSG I sent, but it's in mod review section for now. I deeply prompted AI, and what I did was to give a video to AI, like I also know how to use After Effects. So I created video there. Then I give it to AI, then after 5-7 tries, I got it. Till today, I am not able to fully understand it how I did it.
The sharpness is really nice. The sharpness of the uniform width of the lines. Oh, those effects where a line unfolds. There is a cool. Oh, and then there was a glitch here. The line appeared at the end. Here. And there is a cool library. Let me find it. What's it called? I'm trying to find a library which was able to do. So normally, the problem with Skia and Canvas in general is that when you draw something, for strokes, the Canvas API gives you actually very little control. You can control width, you can control the fill, you can put a gradient there, but it doesn't allow you to shade different pixels in the perpendicular direction of the stroke. And there was this library some time ago. Okay, I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, no. I will. This guy. Project redraw. Check this out. So those are still kind of React components, but they have been reworked so that you get more control over shading of strokes, essentially. So the shaders you can create can be more, for instance, you can vary width of the, generated line dynamically. I think they do some kind of tessellation with WebGPU or something like that.
Okay, I will add it and use it.
Project redraw. And this guy, William Candillon, in particular, he's very active on the React Native graphics community. Color along a path. Oh, come on, that would be so beautiful if this was possible in, in stock HTML. And those examples are nice. In this bottom section, there is some kind of repetitiveness that I see. Like 60% of those websites look like the same website. This, and this.
Pimenti say.
The portfolio area is cool, though.
Kitsugama says.
Bro, drag it, it's a 3 gallery.
Oh, nice.
Can you click to enlarge?
Yeah, there is even a hint that it's draggable. Yeah, those websites, they kind of look like the same website.
Kitsugama, you could make it more clear by having it slowly rotate, absent user interaction.
Kitsugama says.
It's loaded with kinematics. I will change the images. I will surely do that.
And there is no scroll bar. That was actually strange. Then brought me back to Google. Let me go back. I'm clicking Start Your Project. I'm clicking back. Oh, it's just a scroll.
Bro, reload it.
When you do this kind of scroll, where you scroll to a different section of the web page, it's good to use those hash, like fragment URLs. Those fragment URLs would make the refresh work properly. You know, I'm probably not the right person to review it, because I'm reviewing it as I'm not really the target audience of this website. I'm a kind of programmer myself, so...
Give it a hard refresh.
I just did. Contact, yeah, now it jumps nicely. But for some reason it didn't update the URL here. So when I click back, there's something wrong with that link. It's nice. I guess it's hard to polish those interactions with AI, because AI often cannot reproduce those issues. But there is a section that's over both of those cards where they behave erratically.
Yeah, it's really hard to fix it.
But I guess there is some region here where those cards are actually untransformed. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how the selection works. The selection should be simple. It's like you divide the width of the website into like 4 columns, and you check over which column the mouse is. And this is the card you activate. No hover, no, nothing like that. Because hover is influenced by the Z index. And again, you know, like every paragraph keeps repeating, like, not a template, not a template. But this looks more like a template, actually.
It's where the cards overlap. It creates a mess.
Yeah. If you just do not use the hover to drive the selection of the card, but just the position of the mouse, then the issue will go away.
KK, I will do that.
Yeah, those paragraphs. So this one is actually the clearest of all of them, but for a programmer, this is the clearest for a programmer, because the first half is actually very clean, it's direct, it tells you what it is. Fast responsive and alive, scroll-driven animation, reactive WebGL touches. Yeah, this basically sums up all of the text. Smooth on every device. It's very smooth. It is. I'm not sure if it's smooth on smaller devices. Oh, this is the control panel. So I guess those websites that we've seen here, those were control panels for the for different websites. Nice, very nice deck of cards. Also cool animation. I need to figure out how to do this because I have a very similar case on the Automat website where I scroll through the notebook, and that was a pain to make. Like every page is essentially like a different CSS class. I need a better way to do this.
Yes, I also provide admin panel. Those are images of admin panel.
Only metal. Hudden.
Love how the AI added text. It drifts of its own to the portfolio. They love adding these little irrelevant texts when you ask for changes.
The visual language of this website, it has a few elements which are repeated on the website, but I have no idea what they actually mean. You have those numbers, and they have been there before, like here. You have this manage, build, design, discover, and there is this tiny number, 01, strategy, something. They are actually consistent, the numbers here and here. They have been also before, right? Here they go up to 5. Oh, here they are used to mark the numbers.
Hatred Sugama says.
That's the cost of using AI. I will fix it myself.
And there are also those icons on the cards. Here, in the corners. I do wonder if they have any significance. Because they remind me of card games, and in card games you usually have those symbols that they typically have some meaning, like the type of a card, or something, a mana cost, or something like that.
No, those are added by myself. I will add some relevant symbol.
Yeah, if you use them in a couple more places, it will be clearer what they mean. But they look nice. Very cool. So the dots, they create circles as I move my mouse. Interesting. And the radius of the circle is influenced by mouse position. Interesting. Some of the text is... I need to select it to read it. This is a bad sign. This is a bad sign, because I have a good sight. Something that would improve the contrast, background versus text, would be nice. Background could be more muted, or maybe there could be some shadow around text, or some flat background, something like that. Yeah, and it keeps repeating the same thing over and over. Never a template.
I am thinking to add stroke around that text.
Yeah, stroke would help. Nice. This is a cool shader. It is glitching a little bit on mouse movement. So there is something that happens on mouse movement which makes it, I don't know, forget where the mouse was. Nice. I know this effect. This is like a hyperbolic kind of repulsion. Very cool. There is a lot of repetition on the website in terms of messaging, like the text is repeating a lot of stuff. Like, this is repeated, I don't know, five or six times.
So, out of 10, what will you rate?
For me, as a programmer, I'm not a client for this. Like, I wouldn't probably ask anybody to make a site for me. In terms of messaging, like not the effects, not the web development, but the messaging is repetitive.
PLS give me raw answer.
I think it's not really standing out. There are a lot of websites like that nowadays. I don't know. It would stand out if it actually had something I don't know, something different.
Try this one.
URL.
The nice thing about this is that this is written in first person, which is not so common for AI generated websites. Typically, they are written in this very commanding way, which avoids proper sentences. It's using, what do you call them? Let me translate something. They're using sentence equivalence. This is like a form of grammatical structure where you do not have a verb. Like, your business is brought to life. There is no verb in here. It's not a sentence. It has no it's like a complex noun with some adjectives.
Oh, got it.
It would be a full sentence if it was something like, we bring your business life. And AI doesn't really like to write in proper sentences. Okay, this is a proper English sentence. We designed and built one of a kind websites with a CMS shaped around your business. But then it has this antithesis, which is it's so clear from the writing.
Moon says,
It's the royal king shit, as the kids would say.
This one has a nice vibe because of the stroked text. The stroked text has this like engineering vibe. Yeah, and there is a code behind the text. That's nice. That's a nice touch. And this one, on the other hand, is very readable. So the palette is very reminiscent of Claude. This is like anthropic branding, essentially. But they designed it. There were designers who came up with this design, so it works.
Needs more space between products. I struggled passing that for too long. Wow, what's up with that font?
Ketratsugama says,
I will add spacing.
Yeah. This is nicely written, but but after reading, headers and those statements, which is again another antithesis, I'm kind of skeptical if this was actually written by a real person or by an AI. I'm pretty sure the facts, you provided the facts, but there is probably some AI processing this. And to me, this feels like, reading some... This is actually probably the most information-dense paragraph compared to others, which are just very vague marketing-like statements. So there is an actual information in those paragraphs. Those are probably like the best paragraphs on the website. But it's still, I'm still kind of worried that it could have been written by an AI. So I'm not sure which part of this is actually yours and which part of this is actually made up. Nice. Oh, you do live streaming. Nice.
It's a mix like give facts in the way I want it, then AI give it.
Yeah, this is a good use of AI because AI can do the filler. It's just the filler, like the grammar, and make sure that the text reads nicely and it's easy to understand. This is kind of repetitive. This section here and this section here, it's like the same thing. It's like some picked work. This is another picked works.
I don't do live. It's a client's friend's portfolio, but I made it.
Those websites, they look like thumbnails, like it's not a real website. It has literal placeholders instead of the many icons. So they look kind of... This portfolio looks kind of fake. Nocturne, luxury e-commerce. Nocturne Studio. Site in construction. This is another thing that's... Yeah. Made up work is... this is a real trust killer. Like... a library of things I've shipped, and this is a website which was clearly not shipped. Shipped and trusted. This is so deceptive. Like, are those comments legit or are they made up as well?
I have website I need to add them.
Doing Tai.
We call it OWL, artificial liar.
Kit Trats a Gamer says.
No, the comments are legit.
It is dog again? I see. It's some like a documentation generator, yeah. But the website images. Okay. This is not a real quote. Don't bullshit me that this is a real quote. Normal people do not speak like that. This is how AI speaks. $10 million events in a day and the dashboards are still instant. This is another like sentence equivalent. This is not a proper sentence. Like, this is a very rare thing for people to speak like that. There's no verb in any of those two sentences.
No, really. It's real. I got the comments from him.
Really? Really? Okay. This sounds like more like a normal person, say. Almost.
Fiona 9.
People speak like that on LinkedIn.
Maybe that's it. Maybe those are like LinkedIn opinions. I don't know. But they all have the same rhythm of speaking. Like, they say a sentence which has a number and then it hasn't fallen once, then worth every something. That never happens. Okay, this one has a different rhythm. Agents open blah blah blah. Not phone numbers. This is not written by a human. That was the whole point and he got it. Again, this rhythm. Yeah, like probably somebody who's not working with AI, it's not going to kind of notice this. It sounds kind of like just a LinkedIn language. But if you work with AI, this has very strong, like the fact that there are like deceptive examples, which are just not true. Those are like made up examples, and literally the line below it says shipped and trusted with some, again, AI generated opinions. Oh. Send a brief, I reply within 2-4 hours. No person can do this. No real person can do this.
Sudo1 says,
Hey,
Okay, I will do a short break. Enough with website review. Enough with website review. Like, the one thing I don't like about this is that on first sight, those websites, they look like high quality, polished, richly animated, living, something that somebody has put a lot of work into. But then the more you use it, the more you see that it's all kind of full of filler content and made up, often kind of straight lies. I don't know. Okay, this website is probably not full of lies. Like those are like actual websites that were built, I guess. They look like actual websites, they were built. But this other one, this is so...
what are you doing?
Kotratsu Gamer says,
This makes me super suspicious about this stuff.
Reviews. I will improve the things you pointed.
Yeah. Okay. I will do a short break, but the point... Okay, I will actually fire it here. No debug. Release file.
B2B, where are you from?
I am from Poland. Oh, hello from the other side of the world. So the point is to bring this to a Steam shippable quality. So this is the point. Steam release is the point. The foundation, the automation app, let's say, the part about automation is there, it's working. Now it just needs everything else. So I guess this is the stuff that we are going to plan next after short break. Okay. So, what's needed for a Steam release? Stability. First of all, I do not want to have any crashes. The Steam version, when you do something crazy and cause a problem with some object, I do not want it to bring the whole Automat down. So, one necessary project is... I think there needs... let's just call it crash suppression right now. Oh yeah, let's make this XL. Everything can be XL. Great warp unification, which is this wobbliness, was done. I can delete those now. This works. Steam release. We need some crash suppression. I need... to review the save format, a more stable save format. The reason is that as Automat is going to be updated, right? So I do not want the machines created for one version of Automat to suddenly stop working in the next one. Currently, Automat uses JSON files, and they could work, but they are not the perfect stable format. It's very easy to change the schema of a JSON and break it, basically. So we need this. And then there are some Steam unique features like Steam Cloud Sync.
TTS-ed.
gRPC schemas.
gRPC would actually be very nice. It has gRPC is based on protobuf, and protobuf has a very good backwards compatibility story. You assign those unique IDs to fields, so new version of the software knows how to parse the old data format and only, extract what it needs out of it. But JSON kind of also has this.
Right. Protobuf. That
Yeah.
was the name.
What I'm actually thinking here is, let me show you how the save format looks right now.
I just remembered we picked it because of backwards compatibility before.
Okay, let me actually store something. This I will do, maybe I will do a screenshot. Screenshot of Automat. I don't know. Maybe. I will also make some kind of image, stone-mapped image.
And in fact, you can turn them into JSON anyways. So if you can still have JSON, but your schema forces backwards compatibility.
Okay, so this is an example Automat board with a couple with a diverse set of objects. Now, what should happen when I close this and reopen this? We have an image in memory. Image is kind of heavy. We cannot store this as JSON. And here we have a result of some computation. So this image went through some gamma correction. So here we see some kind of transformed version of this image again. Do we save another image, or do we save just the recipe for how to transform this? And this is just the start. Like here, for instance, I can have literally a set of registers. So this is a register which contains the address in memory where I can store data. If I save this value, this register, and then reload it, this address in memory, it's no longer going to contain any writable location. I cannot really store this address. And here I have a running instance of Emacs. So I can run other apps within Automat. And what should happen when I close Automat now? This is a messed up problem. Like, what's the proper save format for something that cannot really be restored after a restart?
You generate it from first principles.
So, how to store heavy objects? How to store ephemeral objects? Those kind of questions. I need to figure out how to do this. Maybe I can somehow annotate some objects as ephemeral or not. I don't know. Like memory addresses, for instance, are ephemeral. This probably has to be exposed to the user somehow. So ephemeral objects, they probably should have some kind of shape. Maybe they could be drawn as ghosts or something like that. And that's a clear visual signal that, hey, this object is not going to be saved when I close and reopen Automat. Maybe.
Raw protobuf, being a binary format, really lets you just stuff anything in there, I believe. It probably has streaming passes.
Yeah. For the heavy objects, my ideal shape is to actually let me close this, because it is going to save something. So Automat has finished. And if we look at Automat state, we have timeline, sure, nice. On window.captured image. I remember I've been adding something so that it stores images somewhere. Anyway, so images, like this captured window, I would like to store this somewhere. Oops. Now I restart it, and okay, the Emacs restarted because I actually had this object is special. But this register is probably nonsense now. And the image here is gone. And I also didn't store the iconification state. Oh, that's a bug. It's a very interesting bug. Okay. So all of those questions need to be answered. And after they are answered, then we can have Steam Cloud Sync. Steam Cloud Sync, I also will probably do this. Actually, I'm not sure if I should do this on stream. I will have to see if I can do this, because Steam actually has an NDA. So a lot of the APIs that Steam offers, they are under NDA. You need to sign up for Steam before you can sign up. You need to sign this NDA before you can see the documentation. So I'm not sure if I can stream them. I think Steam Cloud might be one of them. Or maybe the documentation is public. I'm not sure. Okay, so once we have this is still not done. Because this toolbar at the bottom, let me note the bugs, because there are some annoying bugs that I need to record. Error flames. And the toolbar. The toolbar is a mess right now. It has like 14 different objects. This is a lot, and when somebody opens Automat for the first time, it may be a little bit much to have so many things, and a lot of them, they kind of don't make sense, like this timeline. You can create this timeline, but you cannot do anything with it. Like, what's the point of having this timeline in the toolbar? Absolutely no point. So, the toolbar needs to be cleaned up. But this cleanup, I do not want to just manually clean this toolbar once and then, you know, have something that will degrade after I add 5 new objects. I actually want to have a better, smoother way of onboarding the user into Automat. So that when you start it for the first time on the toolbar, you should have something like 4 or 5 objects, and that's it. That's it. You do not need any more except that. Like, I think macro recorder, timer, maybe hotkey. Hotkey and key presser need to be somehow connected. I still don't know how to do this. Maybe mouse, who knows? Some limited set of objects, and those like the number, timeline, assembler, window capture, tesseract, development key, and beta objects, they all need to be squeezed somewhere, and then the user needs to be able to control the toolbar by, you know, for example, adding new objects to the toolbar. So the toolbar has to be less, like simpler, and also more capable at the same time. So toolbar needs to be redesigned. This redesign is important because it's essentially a tutorial. Like what you see on the screen when you fire it up for the first time is the application really tells you something through its appearance. So the way it looks when you open it first time should be very clear what it does. Next, multi-boards. There is this mechanism of having multiple boards, but I probably need to polish a little bit. I should make it possible to delete the boards. I should make it possible to resize them, change the backgrounds. This multi-board thingy is really unfinished. I mean, the current multiple boards, it's not even designed. It's kind of just a very vague idea of how things could work, you know, with those clones. Now I can have a clone of a timeline. And when I play one, you know, both of them play. Yeah, those object clones. This is a nice idea, and it works. It works surprisingly well. It's missing everything around it. It's just this single idea. Like, for instance, I need a way to jump between different locations where the object is. An object can have multiple locations. This is one location, this is another location. Yeah. Custom backgrounds. Oh, this is such a big task. I think I need to do like the minimal approach first. So we have that. Those are smaller bugs. We will need to fix them, but or maybe crash suppression actually, this bug is related. And this toolbar is related to this. So the point is to get here. This is the regrail. Still have an icon? I'm not sure. Yeah, let's make it pink. The point is to get to the heart. But to get to the heart, all of those things need to be implemented, and I think the ordering is wrong here. Should be like and there is one more. There are even more tasks. There is the fact that Automat has absolutely zero documentation. There is zero explanation of how anything works in this system. So Automat needs a help system. so that, you know, when you look at this macro recorder, you should know how to use this. What is the point of this thing here? I think maybe on right click I could actually put some help. There are just so many of the issues here, they are related. There's also this idea of the overlay. So the idea with overlay is that the UI of Automat should be editable from within Automat. So there could be a special board like somewhere here, I don't know, somewhere in this space. And this special board could function as your kind of screen overlay. When you drop an object here, this object is then rendered on top of your, basically on your viewport. I think this toolbar, it's really related to this. We'll make this a regular arrow. I will add dots because those two are related to each other, they are not the same. And the help system is also kind of related to this because I could have a help system that the best help system is active from the first moment you open the app. You do not need to right click anything to see, you know, help bubble, help text. Help should be somewhere on the screen all the time. So I think this is also related to this overlay system. And if help is part of the menu, if there is like a documentation option here, which opens, I don't know, maybe an explanation of how some object works. Then this right click, it's kind of related to how we construct menu system. So I want menus to be user controllable, but okay, maybe I will not put this link. This is definitely beyond the Steam release. Okay, so the idea with overlay system is that if you have a special dedicated board which controls the UI essentially, then if you want to add something to the toolbar, you go to this special board and you add something to the toolbar, and now it's part of the toolbar. Simple, right? There is one more thing. There is the idea of clone tile. It's a very small design I made a long time ago where I needed a way to visualize that those icons here in the toolbar, they are not objects. This is not a proper macro recorder. This is like a factory that you can use to make new macro recorders. When you click this, the macro recorder pops up. This clone pile, I think it is connected to those. Especially toolbar redesign could use this. There is so much to do. Oh, this is crazy. And this is not over. This is not over. This is not over because right now Automat is optimized for being used with a mouse. And there is the issue of gamepad support. We find this gamepad recording, which is like part of gamepad support. Do I need this? No, I don't. I do not need this. Steam release, but it's optional. But there is something else that's required for a Steam release. And that required thing is some wish lists. I remember reading a blog, and my brother told me about this ago. That to do a proper Steam release, you cannot just release just like that. Because the Steam is just going to ignore your game. Your game is going to be just pushed somewhere in the forgotten area. Actually make sure that the game is visible on the Steam page. It needs to get enough wishlists. I don't remember how many was that. 5k wishlists? Yeah, those are wishlists, so we can use hard here as well. Be a solid line with an arrow. And this can be a cloud. There is probably something here that I forgot about. And this is really not required. So again, I will put this in dashes. Okay, I think the next easiest thing to tackle is the crash suppression. Probably. And it's actually not that hard. The crash suppression should actually be doable rather quickly. It is like 1 p.m. now, so we probably cannot do this in a single day, but let's try. Why not? Why not? First of all, I did have some changes, I think, here.
Macreate1389 says,
What would be the price tag of this when you release it?
Oh, it's free. It's already free. It's on GitHub. The point of Steam release is to just have a place where people who want to support the project, where they can get this. You can get this from GitHub, from the GitHub page. There is releases, and there was a release 2 days ago, like super fresh, straight from the oven. I'm not sure if the Linux will work. I need to probably make sure I'm linking with some old version of glib. glibc.
Wait, you were gonna release it on Steam as well?
Yeah, there is even a store page already. Let me find it. There we go. It has a page on Steam. I need to rewrite this. This is a full introduction.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But the idea is that there are actually a couple of projects that do the same thing. Open source projects typically do this. They are generally for free. You can get them from GitHub. But there is a Steam page where you can get the Steam version. The Steam version usually has some like small perk. Like for Automat, that perk is going to be the Steam Cloud Sync. That's going to be literally the only difference between the Steam version and the open source one. And the open source one, the open source version of Steam, it's actually probably going to have an even cooler synchronization mechanism called
Was it hard to get your application accepted by Steam?
It was not easy. And it's a game, not application. It's a game. Oh, maybe this is what I'm missing there. So the open source version of Automat, I intend to make Automat a part of the Patchwork system. Patchwork is a distributed computer. It's a very cool technology. It's like, it's really hard to describe. It's like if your computer was able to run on multiple different computers, but it's still the same computer. They can do different things, and when they meet, they kind of synchronize the result of the computation or the result of the state of the system, essentially. And it's all kind of mathematically sound, principled, everything. It's kind of unsecure. It's easy to abuse this system, but as long as you use it for your personal synchronization, this is like a fantastic system for synchronization. So Patchwork. Automat is going to use Patchwork as an alternative to Steam Cloud, which is like a peer-to-peer sync, by the way. Yes. The last issue with Automat is that Automat is supposed to be a game, and it's not quite a game yet. It feels more like an application, like it's a tool for automating other games. So Automat should be a game. How? I don't know. I think it could be. maybe achievements. Maybe you could have achievements for doing some crazy stuff. Actually, yeah. If you think about this, there is this whole category of Zachtronics games. And in Automat,
Added a little story to make it like a game.
yes, it needs a story. It needs a story. It needs a story and it needs some kind of challenge. Or like gameplay loop. And I have an idea of what the gameplay loop could be. It was actually, a long time ago I was thinking about adding some kind of built-in games so that the user could just have like a practice, you know. You would have something like a combat, like a Mortal Kombat style game, where you have to fight somebody, but very quickly it turns out that the game is getting very, very hard, just incredibly hard, and the only way to play this is to write macros. Because you can write a macro that will perform some kind of combo, you know, perfectly, every time, every single time. So that was one idea. Maybe I will record those ideas. We need some kind of symbol for ideas.
And within this story, people are learning how to use the Automat and make complex things.
Yeah, so my first idea to just have a lot of mini games that will kind of show different kind of genres of games, and they will show you how to automate them properly. Because you can automate like shooters in a different way that you automate MMOs, in a different way that you automate logic games, and so on and so on. Sometimes the automation is there just to kind of help you. You are still playing the game and the automation just looks at your health bar and drinks the health potions when it goes too low. So you do not have to think about, you know, health potions anymore. So that was one idea, to have mini games. But I think there is another crazier gameplay loop within Automat, and it's based on this, on assembler. I think Automat would actually have some mini games where you have to create some mini programs in assembly. I think assembler could be the mini game. Like, assembler could be literally the game that you play, the campaign, the main campaign within Automat could be a Zachtronics-like game where you have to write programs in raw assembly, pure assembly. It's no virtual machine, no fancy animated characters. You just animate the actual CPU. You play with the actual CPU that you have. So this is another thing. So a Zach-like game based on this Excel, extra large. And story, you mentioned stories. Automat needs a story, and I approach story design kind of obsessively. I was like a game master for like a long time, and I love stories which have a message. The story needs to have something to say. It cannot just be like a generic adventure where you save a princess. Story needs to have something to say. This something needs to be unpleasant. This something needs to be something that's unpleasant. But true. And during this story, I think there is this one structure that I really like, which CD Projekt uses this all the time, where they dance around a problem, and they always show this problem from different perspectives to you. So
Try to make the story from your imagination,
Yeah.
and not by using AI.
I actually think there is a good story within Automat already. This is like a meta story, but I will get to this in a second. So there is this structure that presents different perspectives on something that's very difficult, some like very problematic topic that nobody wants to speak about. And there is a problem like that already in Automat. It's at the very foundation of Automat. This foundation is cheating. Whenever people come and look at Automat, the first thing they tell me, oh, so this is like a tool for cheating in games. And maybe it is. Or maybe it's not. Actually, this is like a very good topic. This is actually a very hard problem to present. Is this cheating? What is cheating? I actually think this could be the important story. And there is something deeper, like when you think about cheating. Cheating is really related to what games are, really. So what are games? If you know what are games, then maybe the problem of cheating is like easier to answer.
Yay.
So I think this could be turned into a really nice campaign. In terms of how to deliver this campaign, I will probably do something super cheap. I will probably do something like a visual novel. But I think I'm thinking this is probably less promising idea to have mini games. I think this is probably a better idea. Link them. Okay. I guess this is the shortest way to express this. We only need one gameplay loop. That gameplay loop, I think, this gameplay loop where you have to program a tiny pieces of assembly that will do some absolutely insane stuff. It's totally impossible, without assembly. I think this is like a perfect gameplay loop because it's already there and it like synergizes with macros. So if you can create those gadgets in assembly that can do crazy stuff, then you can use them to do macros and anything really. So it's really teaching you to do proper assembly. Yeah, this problem of cheating, I really think this could be interesting. There are so many different perspectives on games. Like, the way that people relate to games are so crazy and diverse. You can have some esports maniacs. So, and when I say people relate to games, I mean that there are some powerful, emotional connection to games that people develop. And there are many, this is like a spectrum of many types of relations. Like I mentioned esports esports professionals. This is like one example. There are, for example, parents of kids, parents that would like to have some like more contact with kids, but the kids are kind of fully captured by the games. So maybe
Yes.
Esports professionals, I was mentioned.
so I can totally imagine like a very sad story around, for example, I don't know, a grandma who has, her child for the summer, and that grandma, tries to get the grandchild's attention, because she, she's an older person. She doesn't have a lot of time. I think this could be a nice story. So we have esports professionals. Esports professionals, they absolutely hate cheating. There are probably like
I will be the highest ELO Automat player from day one.
there are people who are like MMO natives. They basically lead their life in some MMO like online games. I think they are kind of close to esports professionals. There are like casual players who play games to kind of disconnect. Many types of casual players. Because each genre of games has a different type of casual player that plays it. There are some players who play like shooters, there are some players who play like sports games, puzzle games, and so on. And it may seem like a boring, type of relation, but is it really? Like, you can, if you come up with a proper setting, which is not boring, like it should actually create some extreme situations, like something very, very sad. Like, maybe I shouldn't. This maybe. Games as escapism, because games as escapism, this is probably showing this problem in a much more bright or maybe dark colors with a more contrast. Because games are a form of escapism. You could imagine somebody who is in a very hard place, in terms of their life. And games can be a sort of like a place where they can forget about their problems. It's like possibly like the only place where they can forget about their problems. So this is like a really important place. I think MMO natives are somewhere between this, between professionals and MMO. There are like power gamers who treat games as a form of like an art, not professionals, but like people like speedrunners or people who like to master games. I don't know how to call this. There are power gamers like seeking mastery. And I will make small because I think it's... I actually think this can be deleted. It's too close to the escapism. I think the story could show all those kinds of people, or maybe let's add more. Let's add more. There are also cheaters, the people who kind of enjoy this kind of power over others, or like maybe let's call them bullies, because this is probably a better term for this.
Missing the social aspect of gaming a bit.
Yeah, social aspect is important. It's like the key. Because the idea is that the story could really show different like characters, or maybe the same character. I don't know. But each of those relationships would be shown in
Some
the...
games I play as a means of staying in contact with others I cannot meet, I'll...
Yeah. If I know it's a stretch, but I would actually qualify this as maybe not escapism. It's not escapism. It's more about having like a safe place where you can meet other people. That's, you know, that you do not get in reality. But yeah.
My girlfriend is halfway around the globe right now. It's not like I do not get to meet her, I'll...
Yeah. I think there is a potential for some very important, like powerful stories. Oh, there is one more that I have to mention. Like, I mean, or maybe I will mention this here. So sometimes people form connection to a game because this is like the place where they can escape, or like escape their daily problems, or have contact with other people, or this kind of stuff. And this is closely related to something else which Automat tries to actually fix. There is the problem of corporate greed. Like most games, especially big games which are maintained and developed actively, they are developed for companies, and those companies need to extract money because they need to function. So there is a balance, like every game tries to kind of abuse their users. So there was a term coined a couple of years ago by Cory Doctorow, entreatification.
We play Helldivers while hanging out on Discord, and it's not the only example. My friend group is a bit scattered.
Maybe entreatification is a bad term, but what I mean is that there is a problem with game design, especially like corporate game design, where the games are like optimized for exploiting the player. So those two are, I think, most related. I think...
Gacha games.
Yeah. All of this, this is basically a bunch of different perspectives on games And especially, there are like two very interesting problems here. The problem one are like bullies, cheaters. And the problem two is exploitative game design. And the situation with Automat is that on one hand side, it can be used as a tool to avoid exploitative game design. Because if there is a game that tries to like addict you or force you to stay for 8 hours, in front of computer to get some random drop, you can use Automat to bypass this. You can use Automat to farm shiny Pokemon, right? You do not have to like sit in front with your Game Boy and, repeat the same action over and over. You can write a tiny program that will do this for you. So Automat is a tool, it's a weapon that you can use against exploitative game design. But it's also a tool that cheaters or bullies can use to destroy, otherwise fun and nice places. So I think each of those categories of people could be placed in a position where they play their game, but they are exploited by the game designers, and they can use Automat to bypass this exploitation somehow by automating something, but making a macro, a loop that will do something. And they can also be contrasted with bullies. And I also think it's kind of nice to present the bully's perspective to kind of, because most people who are abusive, they're not abusive because they were kind of born like that. They are probably they probably do this kind of stuff because they have been themselves targets of this. So I think it's also a pretty powerful message to show you, let's say, the not every bully has a sad story behind them, right? But I think it's interesting to also show this perspective because I think it builds more empathy in people.
23 open pull requests since yesterday. Thanks, guys. Love this on a Friday.
Probably all AI generated.
I'm not going home early today. Well, I am home, but I'm not clocking out.
Straight line, arrow.
Our weekly meeting is on Mondays, so everyone wants to have their thing reviewed by then. I think I might call in sick.
You can have like a minimal time to review, and you can say like week you need like a week to properly review the code. It's actually a very reasonable thing to have. Like, nobody can respond in a couple of hours. Okay, let's put Automat here. And by the way, when we talk about cheating, I really want to stress that there is a difference, like a big difference, when it comes to cheating, because the way that you cheat, that you modify the rules of the game, modifying the rules of the game is kind of cheating. It kind of sometimes can be justified. Like, for example, if the game design is exploitative, or when everybody agrees to the changing rules, like all of the players, they want to change the rule. You mean that Automat can be a tool? I think the story of Automat should be about Automat and about cheating in games. I think this is such a powerful area. There's one more area here in the center, which is, I wanted to mention this. This is about a group of people who decide to change the rules of the game. They want to play by different rules.
I don't think Automat has going to get past even the most basic anti-cheat.
It's going to get past all of the anti-cheat. There's no anti-cheat that Automat couldn't bypass. You just need to run this on a different PC. You know, so that the PC that you play the game on is kind of clean, and Automat runs on a separate PC, which only reads the screen and sends commands.
Modern cheating rarely happens on the same computer at this point, because anti-cheats have gotten so invasive.
Yeah.
Cheaters use a second computer to cheat on the first one. Yeah.
What is it called when people... Actually, no, I think this is part of this exploitative game design. Like... This new game modes. I actually think this is not probably such an interesting thing, but there is this gray area where as a group of people who play a game, they agree to use some kind of exploit because it makes the game more interesting. But I don't think it's really worth putting in the story. So maybe this is... Okay, let me ask AI because AI will know this.
However, I play a lot of competitive games, and cheating really isn't a huge thing anymore. It's been months since I saw an obvious cheater in League. Might be worse at lower ranks, but I doubt it.
Yeah. I think the gaming community is probably kind of maturing a little bit. House rules.
I'd expect cheating to be more common in casual, pseudo-competitive games, Call of Duty and such. But I don't play those. So what do I know?
Yeah. Okay, and this is smaller because I don't think this is really good topic for the story. The story needs to show very emotionally kind of powerful messages, like people who are really in like desperate situations.
Did you notice the GM 5.3 release?
5.3? What? The 5.2 was like nearly Fable level, if I recall correctly. Let's check the leaderboard. It's still not on the leaderboard, apparently. 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 is not yet here. But yeah, I am looking forward to this. 5.2 is very high. Oh, sorry, no, Kimi K3 was almost at Fable level.
The announcement was like 5 hours ago. It's on AN right now.
Nice. It's not the kind of model that I will probably be able to run locally, because if I remember, this is kind of... How many billion parameters does it have?
By their own charts, they're beating Kimi. Yeah, it's a big one. But the hosted options are cheap.
Oh yeah. 753 billion parameters. Oh. It's like 30. I would need 30 copies of my GPU to run this on the GPU.
URL.
Yeah, I'm not going to check this out. I have to run. But I think we have a nice plan. I think we have a nice plan for the Steam release. And I really wanted to release Automat on Steam this year. But I'm looking at this plan. And for instance, like next week, I'm taking some time off. So next week, I will probably not be doing much. I think we should work on this now. Crash suppression, it is a very simple problem to solve. And it's going to have a nice effect right after we do this. Automat will basically stop crashing. This is a nice property, right? So yeah. And we will make it a game. Now it's kind of clearer to me. We have a good story. We have a good mechanics, they both synergize with Automat. They are already there. This story is already in Automat. It's just not told yet, but it's there. And this gameplay loop, it's already there already, and it's a very cool gameplay loop. So I'm really excited about how it's going to work out. But okay, I have to run. This is it for today. Like I mentioned, next week there will be no streams. I will cancel the events on Twitch. So I guess I will see you in 2 weeks. Yeah, so we'll see you on the Monday after the next Monday. Bye-bye.
See you. Thanks for the stream.